Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Who are yours? Do they mesh? Do they jive?
Close, pretty close. At number 5, I've got the LA Rams, who have now just quietly won 5 in a row and are playing pretty well. But their quarterback play doesn't make them as good right now as Tennessee, who are starting to get healthy. Their defense is playing at a really high level. They flexed on the Miami Dolphins, who had won, 7 in a row. So I got Tennessee ahead of LA. But Tennessee, I don't think, would beat Tampa if they played today. Tom Brady just continues to get it done. I mean, when you have Antonio Brown going down the sidelines and walking off the field like that and all the distraction and you're losing, and then Tom says, okay, next man up, and then just goes down the field and wins, they'll be next man up. And if they get healthy, they'll be dangerous. But even though they lost, I don't think either of them are as good as Kansas City right now. I don't. I think Kansas City's defense was an issue early. They cleaned that up. Their offense wasn't getting it together, but now they've cleaned that up a little bit. And even though they lost, I think they've got too many weapons. And I think they're the second best team, and they're all trailing Green Bay. And I think Green Bay right now is the odds-on favorite. They're the only team to clinch a bye. I think they should be the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Interesting, by the way, a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers being on Pat McAfee's show yesterday, saying the secret to his success is he stopped giving a crap.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Who's got the most annoying fan base in the National Hockey League? The two finalists were, not surprisingly, Montreal and Toronto. I have no argument on that. And running away on Twitter with 79% of the vote is the Toronto Maple Leafs, the most annoying fan base in the National Hockey League. I'd vote for them, and I'm surrounded by them. Montreal Canadiens fans are annoying, but they know it, and they don't care.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Happy Friday, everybody. Great to see you. Welcome to a FlameTech Football Friday. End of the week. Very interesting and spicy show coming your way today. I have that feeling. More tremendous guests, by the way. Tori Gurley, our NFL Insider, will be joining us in hour 1, heading into the final weekend of the NFL regular season. And Jarrett Bush, Super Bowl winning receiver with the Green Bay Packers, will be joining us from Wisconsin coming up in hour 2. But I know for those hockey fans that have tuned in here in the warm-up, the opening segment, we're going to get to a lot of hockey. We always do that on FlameTech Football Fridays. And then they can go about their weekend while we talk football the rest of the way. Let's bring in the Moose from the NHL's Bermuda Triangle up there, Moose. He's put his glasses on since the last time I saw him. He's trying to look smarter. More smart. Still a little chilly up there, Moose?
Oh, is it ever? I don't know if you caught this during our pre-show meeting, but I snapped my neck around because the wreath on the door started banging against the door. I thought somebody was trying to break in. It's windy, it's icy, it's cold. So yeah, just another day in paradise.
Well, a good day to talk football a little later on, as I mentioned, but I'm not going to belabor this anymore other than to say a very big day because we will be awarding our Taco Time comment of the week. And right now, Chris Jarrett out in Surrey, BC is leading with his comment that the Edmonton Oilers are like a Taco Time burrito that's exploded and you have no napkins. Something along those lines. We'll dig that thing up. But right now, he's the leader in the clubhouse and our viewers have a couple hours to try and beat Chris Jarrett out of Surrey, BC. All right. Director Jordan, can you please hit the quick 6 show horn, please? We're back in, you would think, March of 2020, 2019. I don't even remember anymore. Time is an illusion. Darren, things are changing by the minute as we go. But I'm going to start with the actual hockey. There were a lot of games in the NHL last night. I've zeroed in on just a few. I'm not going to run through all of them, but Gabriel Landeskog got his 4th career hat. He finished with 4 points, leading the Colorado Avalanche to a 7-1 win over the Winnipeg Jets Thursday night. I saw Craig Button on SportsCenter saying the Jets learned a lesson. What more can be said? They did. They come home with their tail between their legs. But Landeskog scored twice in a 3-goal second period for the Avs. Nathan McKinnon had a goal and 4 assists, and Mikko Rantanen added a goal and 2 assists. He looked really good last night. The Avs top line notched 12 points, something you might want to be thinking about when we start to think about playoff drafts, which we'll be doing again. It's not that far away. Elsewhere, Nikita Kucherov had a pair of nifty assists in his return from a lengthy injury during Tampa Bay's 3-goal third period, and the Lightning routed the Flames 4-1. There was a lot of energy in sold-out Amalie Arena last night in Tampa Bay. I don't know if any of you watched it. It was loud. Every time Kucherov got the puck, they were, Cooch. They were all very excited to have Kucherov back in the lineup, and they spanked the Flames 4-1. And no rest for the Flames, who go into Carolina tonight. They are learning a nasty lesson this week. So by the time we get into Calgary, Moose, for our run of shows at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, I wonder if the Flames will have turned these lessons they're learning into their own favor. And I have a sense that they will. They didn't look any better last night, really, than they did in Florida here the other night when they got spanked 6-2. But Corey Perry, Braden Point, Andre Palat, and Alex Killorn scored to help Tampa Bay become the first NHL team to reach 50 points for the 4th time in the last 5 seasons. How about that? And Andre Vasilevsky made 26. Vazzy made 26 saves for Tampa. Dan Vladar stopped 29 shots in his first game for Calgary since December 7th, and Johnny Hockey had his 11-game road point streak snapped. So that's what happened in Amalie Arena last night. I got to mention the Panthers. They played, but Dallas captain Jamie Benn had a goal and an assist 2 days after getting cleared from COVID. And the Dallas Stars won for their first time so it was their first game in 17 days. They beat the Panthers 6-5 in a shootout. I think we're going to learn a lot about the Florida Panthers here, guys and gals, because they played the most home games in the NHL leading into this week. So now they're going to go on the road for a while. We'll see what happens. And the Vegas Golden Knights, Canada's team, they were in action last night. Jonathan Marchessault scored twice. Robin Lehner made 18 saves in his first game in nearly 3 weeks. And the Golden Knights defeated the New York Rangers 5-1 at the Fortress. Mark Stone, Matthias Janmark, and Brett Howden also scored for the Golden Knights, who stopped a 2-game skid and extended their lead in the Pacific Division to 4 points ahead of Anaheim. So that's a little what happened last night of the NHL. I'm going to move on to point 2, because when I say things are changing by the minute, I wake up this morning with text messages that the Winnipeg Jets are eyeing Saskatoon as a place to play their games in the 15,000-seat Sask Health Center. By the time we go to air here, noon Eastern, 11 your time, it's now off the table. I guess they're not going to go. Elliot Friedman initially reported the Jets were looking at Saskatoon. Now they're not. And I'm interested in your take on that whole situation. I didn't think it was ever going to happen for a couple of reasons, not the least of which, there's no restrictions in Saskatchewan, the NHL's Bermuda Triangle, pardon me, but there could be by noon your time. You can't just move your games there. Yeah, go ahead. What is your, I didn't think it was ever going to happen. Due diligence to look into it, but no, I didn't think it was ever going to happen.
Yeah, good due diligence. And here's the thing. It's the only possible place in the whole country that you could do this. Okay? There's nowhere else. Somebody said, what about Regina? What about this city, that city? I'm like, you need an arena of that size. You need a jurisdiction, a province that's going to allow fans to come into the building. So Saskatoon was the only option. And I wouldn't expect Winnipeg to be the only team to explore this. When they, and Elliot was sharing that information on his Twitter feed today, that they polled their season ticket holders about their feelings about it. Of course, they'll be upset. But from a franchise point of view, if you're going to move your games, you're going to give your season ticket holders their money back for not going to the games. And you're going to make that money back by selling tickets to Saskatchewan fans. So that's not really the issue. It is. But you're right. We don't know where the restrictions are going. And I went down a couple of rabbit holes of threads on social media in Saskatchewan about this. I got to some followers and the Saskatchewan public, at least in those threads, weren't too keen on the NHL coming to Saskatoon. Now, that wasn't the sports fans. I think we would have done okay putting people in the building, but there was some backlash too from people saying, we're doing a good job here in this province. Let's not bring in a bunch of reasons to gather with massive amounts of people and spread COVID and force us to go into lockdown.
when they were talking about using Saskatoon as a bubble 2 years ago, there was backlash, and a lot of people in Saskatoon didn't want the NHL coming in. I didn't say they were right, but you knew they were going to face backlash here. And I guess we're going to get into the topic that I said we were going to get into with regards to how these teams are doing it. But, and sorry, I apologize. I'm not feeling too well today, as you know, so my mind's a little more scattered than usual, Moose. But from one of the viewers here, Craig in Calgary says, wouldn't it be more beneficial to get a long-term plan in place for all of the Canadian teams rather than all of this ad hoc reactionary ideas? Take some time to plan. From Craig from the Hockey Hall of Fame, he says, with the glasses, Darren looks a bit like Owen Power. Really? I don't see it. The Michigan Wolverines defenseman and number 1 overall pick of the Buffalo Sabres. I don't see it. But I guess I feel so terrible for the sports teams. I just feel terrible for the teams. And in the time we have left, which is a lot here in the warm-up, this is what I want to get into. This, for every league and every sport. Like, I got an email this morning from the Saskatchewan Rush. You're the colored voice of that team. I'm like, they're game notes. I'm like, what? What? They're playing? Oh, yeah, they're going on the road. Saturday night, they're in Albany. So I went to NLL.com, and I see that Colorado's at Vancouver tonight. The Colorado Mammoth are visiting the Vancouver Warriors. And I'm like, how they can play, but the Jets got to move to Saskatoon, and now they're talking about moving the Super Bowl, and now we got WHL games postponed out the wazoo. I just overall am just wondering more than anything, because I'm not laying awake at night staring at the ceiling going, how are they doing it? How are they doing it? How are they doing it? Because I did for about a year and a half. And now I'm just like, stay in your lane, Rod. Zip it. Stay in COVID protocol. Do your little show and shut the hell up. Works for me. But there is a little sneaky part of me that is saying, how are they paying the bills when I go on social media and see people tweeting? They're at games going, plenty of great sections available tonight. I have the whole row to myself. These are in a variety of leagues, sports. How are they meeting their payroll and staying afloat? I'll hang up and listen.
Well, it's a daunting task, and I know they're all struggling. And look, in an ideal world, a business that's been around for a long time has enough capital in the reserve fund to operate for 2 or 3 years, probably 3 at tops. Most would be in a 1 to 2 year range, where if all your revenue went away, you can still operate while you pivot and rediscover what your business is going to be. You give yourself 12 to 24 months. Now, I don't imagine that most sports franchises have this, but I would hope that a lot do. So for me, that's what they're doing. You know, they're in the reserve fund right now thinking, okay, if all you know what breaks loose and we go into a crisis, we need to have enough capital sitting over here so that we can operate for a couple of years with no revenue and try and get back on our feet. But guess what? March, 2 months away, will be 2 years since we started shutting down sports. It'll be 2 years. That reserve fund's gone. And a lot of teams don't have that, especially when you get into smaller teams and community-owned teams, and you get into those types of entities. And big businessmen who have, deep pockets, they don't want to keep dumping their money into this. So that becomes tough. We've used some government programs for a while. You've got people that have been unemployed, getting unemployment insurance. There's a lot of things like that are happening, and it's very, very scary. But this is the time where the owners will spend the money. This is the time when you'll go into debt when times are tough to try and keep your product at a high level. And then when times are good, that's traditionally when you pay down the debts and you try and keep everything settled. So everybody's struggling.
You would hope.
But I've talked to business people in junior hockey markets, and they're like, look, we could do it once. Wasn't ideal, but we could do it and survive. We can't go into bubbles.
Playing in a bubble.
Or into situations again. It's not an option. So
yeah. Well, they need to play because that's how they make their money, right? So if people wonder why they're just postponing games and not canceling them, that's why. Anyways, enough about that. But John in Edmonton's watching. He says, see, American NLL and NBA teams can play in Canada, but American NHL teams can't play in Canada. I know, John, but that's why I'm not reading your questions. You're asking me why And I don't know why. Please stop asking what's happening and why, because I don't know. And when I go to commissioners, and I've been face to face with commissioners and saying, how are these teams doing it? And the commissioner goes, I have no idea. If he doesn't know, how the hell would I know? And I'm sure he's just pulling my leg. That's what commissioners do. But it's very, not frustrating. I've just stopped really worrying about it. Anyways, I always love when I open up the text line before the show, because for those that don't know, it's not my personal cell phone. I don't carry it around, okay? The 902 number, 902-518-3033. And Tim, a friend of mine, Tim Furry, has written in. He's a jail guard, okay? Those guys aren't pussies, just so you know. Tim's written in regarding the end of our discussion yesterday with regards to me trying to get back to Canada and being on hold. I ended up on hold for about 6 hours with WestJet and eventually just hung up. I talked to some travel agent friends of ours, Michelle, you know her. She hosted one of our sports trips. I said, is there a private line with WestJet that I could call that nobody knows that I could call? And she's like, I wish. Right. She's like, I wish. No, there isn't. And she said she'd heard the average wait time to call WestJet is 9 to 12 hours. And I said, well, I'm not doing it. So I just canceled my flight home and booked another one for next weekend. Fort Lauderdale to Calgary. So anyways, we were asking our viewers yesterday, what's your wildest, craziest, zaniest COVID travel snafu stories? Tim has written in and he says, I'm not sure if it was long hair or the beard, but I got pulled over 3 times for random security checks flying from Florida to Regina. I was that guy that goes through security, then gets checked before getting on the plane, and then someone waiting for me in Toronto when I got off. LOL. Well, Darren, I'll send you a picture of Tim. Tim, you should know why. You fit the profile. Know what I'm saying? He's a mean-looking son of a bitch. I'm sure they're thinking, do we want this guy?
Spicy.
Do we want this guy in the country? He knows exactly why. Anyways, we're going to take a break. Chris in Surrey, BC says, he says, hope you feel better, Rod. I have a COVID test later and feel like a dog's breakfast today, too. Prayers up for you, brah. Maybe the best we can hope for you, Chris in Surrey, BC, is to win the Taco Time Comment of the Week honor, the $50 gift card. Jeff Krieger, Jeff is watching in Estevan, the Energy City. He says, when can we talk about Tanner Jeannot for the Calder in the NHL? Whew.
I like it.
To answer it, not today. Because when we come back, we're going to talk about the NFL Week 18, some of our featured games. We're going to talk about the Natty, because I've been asked to go on a show in Philadelphia and talk about Alabama, Georgia Monday night in the national championship. Talk about that. And some really big news out of Winnipeg. Kyle Walters, GM of the Blue Bombers, probably the winner of the GM of the Year, if there was such an award in the CFL the last 2 years. He's making a run at 3 in a row with some pretty key signings this week, including 2 this morning. So it's all football when we come back. This has been the warm-up. It's a FlameTech Football Friday, and you are watching on Game Plus Television Network across all 10 provinces in 31 states, including the Sunshine State of Florida. They carry us down here, Darren, on TDS Cable. Also, YouTube Live and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall, or you might hit your head. That could cause a traumatic brain injury that, depending on how severe it is, could take months to heal or leave you with long-term effects. Effects like getting debilitating headaches for the rest of your life. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital GMC for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or reserve a unit that's already on its way. Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital GMC in Regina.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy, it's pretty impressive.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. You see the moose is loose there in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. I'm down here in South Florida. I just want to mention getting a lot of comments, Darren. You've seen them on my coif. And it's not a coincidence. It's Tough Tribe for Men, brand new sponsors of the show. And a little bit has to do with a haircut, yeah, but massive shine. Tough Tribe for Men contains aloe vera, botanicals, and antioxidants traditionally known for their scalp and hair benefits. We love our men. Welcome to the Tough Tribe. Available today at toughtribeformen.com. That's the number 4, toughtribeformen.com, Amazon Canada, and coming to a salon near you. So if you like the flow, join the club, Tough Tribe for Men. And also, Football Friday is brought to you by FlameTech, our friend Denton and crew. FlameTech, locally owned and operated industry leaders in commercial and industrial combustion technology. I will get into the viewer comments more in a moment, but I promise ball for all here the rest of the way. Huge news in the Canadian Football League. If I had my bell, I would ring it. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers announcing their bookend DNs have signed one-year deals, Jackson Jeffcoat and Willie Jefferson. What more needs to be said? Bombers recognize winners when they see it. They were winners before they showed up. Jackson Jeffcoat, I've been in the Moncrief Center at Austin, Texas, home of the Longhorns. There's a Jackson Jeffcoat shrine. There's also one for Vince Young. A lot of great Ricky Williams. Jeffcoat is held in that regard in Austin, Texas. We all know what we think of Willie. So the news would have been if those guys didn't re-sign. But I got more info on those signings when we hit it here. But I wanted to mention something about the National Football League. And I think you have your weekend picks, Darren. So I'll tell our guys to get that ready, loaded up, ready to go. But here's something to be looking for. NFL teams will play their 17th regular season game for the first time ever this weekend. The league has had a 16-game season for the past 43 years. 13 of the 16 games this weekend have some sort of bearing on the playoff bracket. 18 teams are still mathematically in championship contention. So how about that? That's the most entering the final week of an NFL regular season since 2006 when 20 teams were still alive. So my Cowboys, we've got the division clinched. We're just trying to get into the playoffs healthy and rolling somewhat if we can. Your Titans, tell me about them. They got the Texans this weekend in a friends and family game. The Texans don't have a sniff of anything. So how are the Titans in this divisional game approaching this weekend?
Yeah, a lot of question marks, right? Is Derrick Henry going to play? Doesn't look like it. I wouldn't think he would play. I would bank on him not playing. But the Titans need a win. If they win, they'll clinch first place and in the AFC and a bye in the first round of the playoffs. It's huge. And just a few weeks ago, they lost to the Texans in a tough game. Now, the Tennessee's not the same team. They've played a lot better since then. Have established more of a ground game. Ryan Tannehill settled in. The play action game's been better. So that's the deal. You got to beat Houston to get the number 1 seed, and they're trying to avenge a loss a few weeks ago.
Gotcha. Well, it's always going to be a fun week. And by the way, the Cowboys Philly game is on Saturday. So yeah, I'm in that mindset of, hey, let's get to the playoff. I've been in that mode for a couple of weeks. I think the Cowboys are good enough. I don't know. I don't like the coach. I don't like the kicker. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. This will be an interesting game for the Cowboys too, and I've been listening to a couple of different shows and watching, some of the betting stuff, trying to get more familiar on that side. And this is a big game for the Cowboys. I think it's like a make-right game for Dallas. I think Dallas wins this game. I think it's a make-right game because they need to make sure they are at their peak moving into the playoffs. And the game means nothing for Philly. They can't move up or down in their playoff seeding. So I like your Cowboys this weekend, Rod.
Well, let's get to your picks before we talk any further. Darren's weekend NFL picks for our exclusive betting partner, betregal.net. What do you got for us, Moose?
I think I actually have the Cowboys on the betting picks this week. I've got the Cowboys to win in Philly simply because of that. Usually at home, if you're given 4.5 points, I'd side with Philadelphia in their running game. But COVID's killing the Eagles right now, too. And Dallas, Mike McCarthy said he's playing his starters. They're playing to win. They need to get this thing on the right track. So I got Dallas minus 4.5. I got the Rams minus 4.5 against San Francisco. I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is going to play. He didn't practice yesterday. So if Trey Lance plays, I'm not as confident in San Fran. Cooper Kupp needs 136 yards to break the single season record. Take the over on Cooper Kupp. I think they're going to throw to him all day. They're going to try and get him the record. LA wins. And I like New England on the road. I watched Miami last week. I think, Tua's struggled pushing the ball down the field. I think Bill Belichick against young quarterbacks has been really good. I like the Patriots -6, even though the number is kind of big there. And Nelson's prop bet against the Jets, he's going with Josh Allen over 250.5 passing yards this week. So he thinks the Bills will roll with the passing game this week. So those are our picks at Bet Regal.
You see the comments just went insane from the viewers. From Little Tokyo on YouTube says the Cowboys better beat the Eagles. Eagles will be rolling out the B squad. From Pinks, one of our P1s. Eagles, Cowboys will be a great playoff matchup. Fly, Eagles, fly. We're going to put lunch on that one at taco time. If the playoffs started today, it's the Eagles and the Rams on wildcard weekend. It's the Buccaneers and the 49ers on wildcard weekend. And it's the Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals, which quite frankly, any game for the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs scares me. Any opponent scares me with this football team. We are not going in to the playoffs like a Swiss watch, okay? We're not going in with one flat tire and the empty light on, the fuel light. That thump. We're not that. I don't know what we are. I know that we're going into the playoffs, but we're not going in as a finely tuned machine, okay?
Yeah.
Anyways, a couple of things. Jack watching in Vulcan, Alberta says, Rod, I know how things go in pro sports, but some of the overly critical comments about Bo's season is frustrating. After everything number 19 has been and done for Calgary in the CFL, he deserves a lot better. Yeah, we're going to switch this around to CFL now because that's what people came here for today on a FlameTech Football Friday. Couple things. I get a little annoyed. I got a text yesterday on my Canadian phone saying, "Oh, I heard a rumor. Little Birdie told me that the Rough Riders Brass are entertaining Bo Levi Mitchell tonight at a swanky downtown Regina restaurant." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll look into it." And never thought about it again till now. And then somebody tells me that have the Stampeders announced that they have restructured Bo Levi's contract. Like, I'm just not following it. Not that I don't care. I'm not following that story. I see the Bomber fans here this morning are all very excited, and they should be. That's how, I wish I had my Jeep horn, man, because it sounds like a semi-horn. I should be blowing that sucker. This is from Friday morning. Bang, bang. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers today announced the club has agreed to terms on a one-year contract with All-Star American defensive end Willie Jefferson. He returns to the Bombers after posting superb numbers in both 2019 and 2021. This upcoming season will be Willie's third with the Bombers and 8th in the CFL. CFL's most outstanding defensive player and a league All-Star in 2019. In his first year with the Bombers, Willie followed that up in 2021 with another berth on the CFL All-Star squad, 7 sacks, 18 tackles, 2 picks. And meanwhile, the Blue Bombers announced they've agreed to terms on a one-year contract with American defensive end Jackson Jeffcoat. Jeffcoat returns to the Bombers for a 5th season in 22. He racked up a career-best 9 quarterback sacks this past season to lead the Bombers in that department while forcing a CFL best 4 fumbles. Why would you leave Winnipeg? So to me, if you're these guys, why would you leave? Because you're getting probably paid pretty good money anyways. You're getting playoff bonuses because you know you're going to be in the playoffs, and you're winning Grey Cups. Like, if I can get real for a second, what's the show? Real Talk? Is it with Joy Behar? Let's have some real talk here. If I was a Rough Rider fan, I'd be a little annoyed. You lowballed Willie. Here's a winner. Here's a tremendous person. He's a guy that sells tickets. And you lowballed him, and look what he's doing, jumping around in Winnipeg, winning Grey Cups and re-signing there. You showed Zach Caleros the door. How'd that work out? And now you got Edmonton with their new coach and the GM. There was a viewer yesterday that wrote in and said, "Hey, does Trevor Harris make his way back to Edmonton?" I see Edmonton's restructured Nick Arbuckle's deal. That doesn't mean to me that he's the number one guy going into training camp whatsoever. I'll remind people, as Chris Jones did yesterday, it is still January. But I guess to sum up my ramble here, my monologue is that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are the odds-on favorite to three-peat. And who's the last team to do that? Edmonton Eskimos in the early 1980s. It's the Bombers League. Everybody else is just living in it. Mic drop.
You know what? Winnipeg is doing everything right. And until these moves don't work out, they're going to continue to do everything right. It's funny. Jackson Jeffcoat was just down in Texas. We saw the photos of him with the Grey Cup posted by the Longhorns in the stadium. He's sitting there in his championship gear, hugging the Grey Cup. It looks great. That's the anchor for that defense, is those two. And then you look at Adam Big Hill and you look at their secondary. They're putting together the pieces to try and win this for a third time. Is Brady Oliveira the guy in the backfield, or is Andrew Harris going to be, come back, or is he going to finally drop off? What do they look like? But right now, Winnipeg is it. And I mean, we talk about how beautiful it would be to be on the West Coast in Vancouver and play, or to be out in Montreal or Toronto. But Winnipeg is the destination right now. Great fan base. You're winning. Good facility. Nice city. Playoff bonuses. Sock that money away and then go back down to Texas or go wherever you want to go. But ride it out as long as you can, because the window is always small in pro football. So keep riding it if I was players in Winnipeg.
Well, and I think they absolutely are. But just to back up a little bit here, Jeff, the Stamps fan, says the Bombers have to prove they are sustainable. That means developing their own. They've won back-to-back Grey Cups. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers don't have to prove anything. Calgary, look in the mirror. Stop talking about other teams. I don't think they should be overly happy with the fact that they haven't been in a Grey Cup for a while and beaten in their own park by these Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Jeff, just worry about yourself. As Darren in Salt Lake City says, Winnipeg has become the flagship franchise of the CFL. Oh, yeah, who said that months ago? Oh, wait a minute. Me.
Oh, good one, Rod.
What I respect about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is that they don't care. They're not running around looking for credit. They don't care. They've got the Grey Cups. They've got the records. They don't care. Proof's in the pudding, man. And can somebody please tell me, has Bo redone his deal or not? I haven't seen a notification come down.
Yeah, it looks like it.
3 down did?
3 down.
Okay. So, like I say, why do you think I was annoyed when I got a text last night from a pretty good friend of mine saying, oh, the Riders are whining and dining Bo Levi right now at the Gulf Steakhouse? You know what I did with that? Delete. It's not me anymore, bruh. Moose, we'll see you back in hour 2. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Tori Gurley, one of Trevor Harris's closest friends, joins us next. Maybe he'll have some intel on the future whereabouts of the star CFL quarterback. But of course, Week 18 coming up in the NFL as well. Lots to get to with Tori Gurley. Get your questions ready. Get them in now. It's a FlameTech Football Friday. You're watching on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Hey, Matt, how's it going? We have something really special.
Holy. It's pretty impressive.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital Ford for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or check out our in-stock F-150s on the lot right now. Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. That's not Tori Gurley.
How about
the Moose
that?
is back with us. Yeah. Hey, glad to see your smiling mug, Moose. Tori is rescheduled into hour 2, if that works. I'm going to take this opportunity to jump into a sports update. There's no rest for the struggling Calgary Flames. They visit the Carolina Hurricanes tonight following a 4-1 loss in Tampa last night. The Flames have dropped 6 of their last 8. Gabriel Landeskog, Nathan McKinnon, and Mikko Rantanen were too much for the Winnipeg Jets last night. Colorado's top line combined for 12 points in the Avs' 7-1 win over Winnipeg. For the 6th time in franchise history, the Pittsburgh Penguins are on a 10-game win streak. Brian Rust had 2 goals and an assist as Pittsburgh routed Philly 6-2 last night. Pittsburgh's club record is 17 straight wins. That was back in 1993. Tuukka Rask's return to the Boston Bruins is in limbo. The 34-year-old free agent signed a deal with the Providence Bruins, figuring he'd play a game or 2 and get ready for the show. But Providence's contests against Lehigh Valley, scheduled for Saturday and Sunday, were postponed due to COVID. Raptors look to extend their win streak to 5 games when they visit the Utah Jazz tonight. Toronto coming off a 117-111 road win over the Bucks. Utah's won the last 3 meetings with Toronto. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room. Check out our brand new line of games for the Tap Brewhouse and Drive-Thru Liquor Store, and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. More. Keeping it rolling here from 3downnation.com. The Calgary Stampeders and veteran quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell have come to terms on a restructured contract for the 2022 season. Bo originally signed a 4-year deal with the Stamps in 2019. This season represents the final year of the contract. From Stamps GM John Hufnagel, I'm very pleased that Bo, yet again, has demonstrated a team-first mentality. I look forward to seeing him continue his winning ways on the field. So that came in a statement from Huff. And before we jump into everything else, I don't know how, have you found a way to rejig your wires and your cable and watch Man in the Arena, the Tom Brady story, Darren? Have you had a chance or even time to watch any of this documentary on ESPN?
I have tried and tried and tried, and I can't do it. It's all on ESPN Plus, which I know you probably have down there on demand now to watch it. It's not even at the top of my list. It's the only thing I want to watch, and I can't find it.
Well, because you're a huge Tom Brady fan, right? And I'm a big Tom Brady fan, but it's a 7-part documentary series. It's just like The Last Dance, just like it. And the reason I took the tour to that is there is a shot of John Hufnagel in there. Like it's one of those, if you remember watching The Last Dance, the Bulls doc, you remember watching that going, where did they have this video? Who had the presence of mind to be filming on this moment 25 years ago? And this thing with Tom Brady is very similar to that. But there's a session. Somebody go, Jeff the Stamps fan, maybe you want to do it. Go look up John Hufnagel's Wikipedia and tell me when he was with the Patriots. I want to say 03, 04, 05. Maybe not that whole time, but one of those seasons anyways. And Tom Brady is stretching on the grass, doing a pike stretch. And Hufnagel's sitting there with him just shooting the breeze. And I'm just watching and I'm like, wow, hey, that's Huff. Unmistakable mug on that guy. Hey, Hufnagel. And the real, right. So I think we've watched 3 or 4 of these of the episodes. And we're up to when Randy Moss showed up. Okay. How entertaining do you think that is? And they said one of the players, I can't remember which player, came in with a ghetto blaster and I think a cassette tape with Queen's Another One Bites the Dust. And that became their theme song in the locker room. Dun, 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 dun. And Randy Moss starts dancing just in the interview. And I'm like, can you imagine that locker room rocking out to Another One Bites the Dust? Queen. That was the year that they went 16-0. That was the year. So whatever year that was, I want to say 07. So they played it after every game in the locker. Imagine the dancing and the partying. And when I say that Tom Brady, yeah. Right? Just cranked right to an 11 out of 10. And when I say you see Tom Brady in a way that you've never seen Tom Brady, he sits there and he's dropping F-bombs and he's like, yeah, that night we won in New York. I stayed in New York. I didn't go back to Boston. I partied it up. Just felt terrible the next day. And there's photos of him in the clubs with girls hanging off him. And I'm like, Tom, did Giselle sign off on this? Like it is just the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen.
But it's,
in that little ramble, Jeff has gone and found. Anyway, what are you going to say? What do you got?
Well, that's what you can do now when you've won 7 titles, right? You can go back and look at all the path to get there, right? You see what Antonio Brown's going through and it's all public and posting all of it. And, any other athlete who's gone through struggles and dealing with it, it's not cool to struggle. It's cool to have struggled and overcome it, or to have partied your way through the NFL and succeeded, right? Tom's now going back and showing more and more layers of what he did to get where he is. Yeah, he let his hair down a little bit, but he wasn't focusing on that before. He was focusing on, I worked my butt off day in, day out diligently with my pliability and my TB12 diet and blah, blah, blah. Because that's what he did. And he wanted you to focus on that because that was the key to success. And now he's telling you, look at it. It is okay once in a while. Spend the night, have the party, but don't do it 4 or 5 days a week.
Right, which
that's cool.
Some of us did. That's the difference. Yeah. Well, Leighton Janis, Bomber fan watching, Leighton writes in and says, Hufnagel spent the 2003 season with the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. So there you go. It was literally like a cutaway shot, as they say in the business, or a throwaway shot. Here's Brady doing a pike stretch on the grass, talking to a coach, and I'm like, whoa, wait, that's Huff. But nowhere did it say John Hufnagel, quarterback coach, on the bottom or whatever. At some point it'll be available in Canada. But that's one of the, God bless America, man. Right? John in Edmonton, where is it? Oh, well, will Bo Levi Mitchell be a guest on your show when you're in Calgary? My guess, if I was a betting man right now, would be that yes, he will. I'm not saying it'll necessarily be in the first stint when we're in Calgary. It might be in the second stint. It might be in the third stint as part of our residency at the hotel, which, by the way, my good friend Jeff Army, who's probably watching right now, said, you're in COVID protocol and you can't get to Calgary as scheduled. You know what? Just work on your tan a little more. You're going to need it for your residency at the casino. And I said, Wayne Newton's always got a tan, right?
Always.
So it's going to happen. Listen, we will get into Taco Time viewer takeover when we come back. I appreciate the Moose sticking with us. Tori Gurley rescheduling to hour 2, when we will also be joined by Packers Super Bowl winning defensive back Jarrett Bush. We'll be right back. It is a FlameTech Football Friday. We're having big fun on the Game Plus television network, YouTube live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
A new year means a new you. Pick up a new ride to match at Capital Ford for 2022. Custom order the perfect vehicle for you, or check out our in-stock F-150s on the lot right now. Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to roll. We need your used vehicle too. We pay big and you don't even have to buy from us. Plus, our service department is always here to help. Get special pricing on name brand tires, tire storage, maintenance, and more. And we always offer free vehicle pickup and delivery. Start the new year right at Capital Ford Lincoln in Regina.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Comfort has always been something we as people strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the very popular Taco Time viewer takeover segment here on this FlameTech Football Friday. And bear with me here. I'm going through the text. I just opened the text line, Darren. And Ray is watching in the sticks, Scarborough, Ontario. And he says, hey, Rod, I hope you feel better. My Bills better use this weekend's game to fine-tune some things offensively. They have not looked sharp in the last couple of games. Interceptions are becoming an issue. Have a good weekend. Ray in the sixth. So I was very quickly looking up what the Bills got, and they got the Jets this weekend. The perfect slump buster, I would think, going into the playoffs for the Buffalo Bills. An AFC Eastern showdown against the woeful New York Jets. I don't want to spend minutes on everybody's comment here, but the Bills were rolling going into the playoffs last year, and they didn't get to the Super Bowl. This year, they're not rolling going into the playoffs, but they will be in the playoffs. What's the difference from last year to this year, do you think, for Buffalo? Confidence?
Yeah, it is. But what did Adam Sandler say in The Longest Yard? You got to schedule a tune-up game, man, against Appalachian State or some slack Division II team. You got your tune-up game against the New York Jets. And, maybe New England's tune-up game against Jacksonville was a week too early when they put up 50 points last week. That's what we need from Buffalo. Not a 50-point game, but they need to really show that they're on the same page. They've got all the tools. Their defense can be really good. Stephon Diggs is one of the top receivers in football. That combination with Josh Allen is one of the best wide receiver quarterback duos in football. They have to be considered real contenders for a Super Bowl. coming out of the AFC, but they're not rolling in. They've dealt with some adversity, and maybe this will be a good thing for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in this first ever Week 18 against the Jets. It is Taco Time viewer takeover. Did you know Taco Time has been around for over 40 years in Canada? This iconic brand and a Canadian favorite serves over 2.3 million burritos, 3.2 million tacos, and over 1 million Mexi fries every year. I can't wait to get back to Calgary and Canada and get just num some Taco Time. Trust me, I will. It'll be a feast, Moose, you and me, like we normally do when we go there together. Oh, man. There's too many texts coming in like crazy. Here we go. From Allie in Edmonton, she says, happy CFL Football Friday, RP show and viewers. RP, we hope you reached WestJet. I didn't. She says, we were on hold trying to reach them when we were in Hawaii. She said, we really enjoyed your CFL interviews, hoping you'll have number 7, Cody F., as a guest soon. Got that, Clark? Racket. Let's get our man, Cody Fajardo, on soon.
Right on.
Randy, you betcha. Randy in the Peg writes in, and he says, watching obviously from the 204, good morning, Rod and Moose. Go Chargers. They got the Raiders. Divisional battle there. And that is on, is that Sunday night? That's the Sunday nighter. Chargers and Rangers.
Nighter, and
yeah.
I will tell you, it'll disappoint you a little bit. I'd be putting my money on the Raiders. The smart money right now is going on the Raiders in that football game. They're at home with points. Although there's a lot to be excited about the Chargers, and they may win that football game. It's going to be a really good one. Win and you're in.
DG in the Bridge City says, 2022, the year of elections in the provinces of Ontario and Quebec. Oops, was I not supposed to make that known? That's what's happening with those governments and their current COVID policies? All right, I'll zip it now. I've said too much. That from DG in Saskatoon. Last minute of play in hour 1. Brady in the Bridge City writes in and says, hey, Rod, I have Fridays off for the whole semester, so I get to watch the RP show. Do you think the news by Elliot Friedman about the Jets coming to Saskatoon will come to fruition? And if so, this is an opportunity for Saskatoon and Saskatchewan to prove to NHL organizations and the NHL that this province can be a valuable market to an expansion team. Not doing it. Not today. Not the least of which, by the way, is that report's been poo-pooed, maybe by Frege himself, I'm not sure, but the Jets aren't coming to Saskatoon. The NHL's not coming to Saskatoon. Not now, not ever. Get over it. Hour 2 coming up with Tori Gurley and Jarrett Bush, a couple of Packer alums. Stick around. Hour 2 coming up right after this on Game Plus.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall. Or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
we have a surprise for you.
Oh my.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit aurorarecoverycenter.com for more information today.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Again, it's January. Your roster's going to change a lot, right?
Rosters come, rosters go, players come, players go. I mean, every single year, even the years when we won the Grey Cup or we had great teams, the very next year, everybody has to come in and they have to earn what they get. We call it A group, B group, and C group. We don't call it, the first team and the second team. There's so many things that have to happen before we ever even start thinking about who's going to be the A group.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Always a great day when you hear from Chris Jones. Great way to open up hour 2 of a FlameTech Football Friday here of the old RP Show. We're going to bring in the Moose in a second, too. Hour 2 is brought to you by Original 16, the new Canadian Ultra Lager from Original 16 with only 80 calories. You can feel great drinking it anytime. And FlameTech, of course, locally owned and operated industry leaders in commercial and industrial combustion technology. I continue to broadcast from South Florida. It was supposed to be my last show before returning to Canada and starting our broadcast from Grey Eagle Resort and Casino in Calgary on Monday, but I've been placed into COVID protocol and we've bumped it all back a week. This is not the worst place in the world to spend COVID protocol. And let's bring in the Moose now in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. Smack dab between Winnipeg, Calgary, and Edmonton. And this is a day that we reserve for football. It's wonderful that the Calgary Stampeders knew that, and that's why they saved their announcement on Bo Levi Mitchell's new contract. Thank you, Stamps, for doing that. Bo Levi has restructured the final year of his contract to be more cap-friendly, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers also doing us a solid today by announcing on this FlameTech Football Friday that they have re-signed Willie Jefferson and Jackson Jeffcoat to one-year deals. And on cue, you hear the Rider Nation saying, where's our signings? Where's our signings? What are they doing? What are they doing in the green and white? 20 years as voice of the Riders here. It's now almost 3 years ago since I got smoked. But I haven't forgotten how Rider fans operate. Are you hearing it? The whispers? Where you are right now today? How come we're not announcing anything?
I know, right? I know. You definitely hear it because they hear all this good news. And as a fan base, that's what you want. You want good news. Montreal's announced, exciting coaching staffs and Edmonton's done theirs and, signings here and in Calgary and in Winnipeg. It's like, we're on the clock, right? But maybe, it is far too early to panic as a fan base, but they're definitely asking the questions.
Yeah. And, you want the inside team stuff? I mean, back when I used to roll with the PR guys on a daily basis and everybody with the staff, this is how the Riders would be looking. Well, we announced the signings of these Canadian offensive linemen. Yeah, they don't care about that. They want to know about the sexy positions. They want to know about the Ed Gainey's and the Shaq Evans and the Brady and Lenisias and whoever else. They don't care about the Canadian offensive linemen. Where else are they going to go? They're from Saskatchewan. Because I'll never forget one PR guy back in the day. He was like, you want us to announce news? We're announcing news. Yeah, but that's not the news they want. You know what I mean? That's what's going on behind the scenes. Steven Sawchuk watching in Winnipeg. He says Bombers need to lock up Caleros and Big Hill next. Well, they're getting to it. And by the way, Jack in Vulcan, Alberta says Jeff Reinbold now special teams coordinator? ? Yeah, with Montreal. It's head-spinning news across the CFL right now, and that is a really good thing. And that's why we do these football talks on FlameTech Football Friday, because it allows the hockey fans to go somewhere else. It's like, guys, today, Friday, it's football. It's going to be mostly CFL. We've had a lot of NFL today, too. George Yanitsos, the Greek freak, writes in from the Four Seasons. He says, McRoberts' signing makes Rider fans McHappy. I think he's just... He's making a funny there. Paul McRoberts didn't even hardly play. He's just making a rhyme, isn't he? Paul McRoberts is not near the top of the wish list of Rider fans here in this holiday free agent signing season, is he?
Well, I don't know if he is or not. I mean, he was really exciting, a player to follow in his first training camp, and we saw Grady play, and we're like, oh, he's the next one. I think Rider fans still think Paul McRoberts is the next one. So we're excited to have him back. We want to see him be a number one receiver in the slot or on the wide side, and he just hasn't had that opportunity yet.
Mandy in Edmonton. She's joined us for this FlameTech Football Friday. Shout out, Mandy. She says, not sure how to feel about Chris Jones' comment, players come, players go. I think that's the attitude a lot of people have been against lately. Yeah, but that's not going to change. I mean, that's the one thing about Jones. A lot of people don't like him because he's honest. A lot of people don't like me because I'm honest. You don't like what's coming out of my mouth. But the fact of the matter is, it's the truth. Players come and players go. What's wrong? You're not going to get players for longer than a year at a time because the players don't want to be there, or they want to be in one place longer than 1 year, but they don't want to sign longer than 1 year contract.
Yeah.
That made a lot of sense in my own mind, Aaron. Did it make sense coming out of my mouth?
Yes, it did. It made a ton of sense. I mean, it's the constant battle. We want to keep players around, but players want what's advantageous for them. The owners would love to lock players up because they have control. So that's what they're going to negotiate when they're negotiating the CBAs, is to try and, get those deals a little bit longer for the players, make it more advantageous.
Jason in Red Deer writes in, Rod, what do you make of the Stampeders signing this guy from the NFL a few days ago? Thought they would be happy with Bo and Mayer, Jake Mayer. Oh, come on. This is elementary remedial CFL 101. Did we lose Moose? He needed to adjust something. Okay. What do I think about them signing an NFL quarterback? Who cares? You'll never see the field. That's how CFL business is done. As former Calgary Stampeders head coach Bob Vespeziani, a former Rough Riders assistant GM and D-line coach, once said, better is better. So if they get an NFL quarterback and he comes in and knocks their socks off, blows their doors off in training camp, then he'll play. But look, this big mouth right here. What I say about Jake Mayer, who's this guy? He's not going to do anything. Right. And he came in and almost made people forget about Bo Levi Mitchell. Almost. Guy was sensational. Where was he from? Utah State? If anybody knows quarterbacks, it's the Calgary Stampeders. John Huffnagel, Dave Dickinson, Mark Mueller, and until last year, Ryan Dinwiddie. These guys know what they're doing. So they're always going to sign talent. It's only been going on for 100 years. How's this news?
I know. A ball in motion, you can expect it to continue to be in motion, or an object in motion will continue in motion unless, something gets in its way. And that's the quarterback situation of the Calgary Stampeders, right? They're going to continue to have great quarterbacks until something substantial changes. And that'll be, John Huffnagel, Dave Dickinson not being there anymore, scouting staff experiencing a major overhaul. But everything that's gone on in the history of the Calgary Stampeders leads you to believe that they'll always have a good quarterback.
And they always have, and they always will. Jack in Alberta, to watch Bo and Rod on the RP show will make my year. Love you guys. Love you too, Jack. Well, the invitation's been extended. I mean, I'm, I guess, ready for this feud to be over, but it was kind of fun. But let's let Chris Jones and Cody Fajardo take over with the best feud in the CFL now. Craig Campbell from the Hockey Hall of Fame says, thanks for gutting it out today, Rod. Hopefully a couple of days and nominal symptoms have you feeling better really soon. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate that. And like I said, there are worse places to spend COVID protocol than Florida. I remember when those Blue Jays had to quarantine in the Jays training facility in Dunedin a couple of years ago? I'm like, you lucky bastards. Now I'm doing it. Mandy goes on to say, she says, I watch some other days too, but only on TV because I can't operate a PC with a baby most days. Feel better, RP? I too canceled and rebooked a flight to get back to E-Town. A lot of them talking about who is the guy the Stamp signed? They don't send me their news releases anymore. But Steven Sawchuk, the Bomber fan, says, it can't ever hurt to bring in more quality guys. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, no better place for a quarterback to learn and develop than Calgary. And you're getting that learning. That's not on-the-job learning, by the way, in Calgary, if you are a quarterback there. Unless Bo gets hurt. But did we lose, Darren? What are you doing? You're distracting me by being on your phone.
I'm trying to find out who the Calgary Stampeders signed.
Don't worry about it. The viewers will tell us. I'm joking, by the way. I can handle it. I was just worried that your screen had froze. I didn't know what was going on there. Oh, all good. Ryan in New York says the Riders signed Paxton Lynch and he never saw the field. Just because you're a former NFLer and you sign doesn't mean you'll get any touches in the CFL, at least right away. Yeah, I don't know. It's 1:11 Eastern, by the way. Hey, I just looked over. Means we're on the right track. There you go. People are they're starting to fight in the comment section. Keep it civil, everybody. We're talking football today. That's what you all want today. The people that are convened here today, keep it civil. They're starting to turn on Jeff, the Stamps fan. Hey, listen, I do want to spend a second on the national championship. Let's spend a second on the National College Football Championship, which will be played Monday night. I'm a little devastated that we won't be watching it at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino because that was the plan. Our first day at Grey Eagle was going to be a big day previewing the Natty, Alabama, Georgia. So I'll be watching it from South Florida, but it's going to be an exciting football game, and here's why people need to tune in. And this is why I think I was asked to go on the Enterprise Sports Podcast in Philadelphia to preview this game. If you've been paying attention, a couple things about Alabama. When they lost to Texas A&M, it was shocked the world. They haven't lost since. Losses aren't always a bad thing. They've won 8 in a row. Bryce Young, their first-year starting quarterback, is not the greatest Alabama Crimson Tide quarterback of all time. You'll never guess who that honor goes to, Darren. I'll tell you, A.J. McCarron, because he's won 3 natties himself. But if Bryce wins this one on Monday, it's a start. It's a start.
Yep.
And everybody would have thought that it was Joe Willie Namath, greatest Alabama quarterback of all time, but he didn't win 3 natties. And the Crimson Tide lost 6 NFL first-round draft picks from last year's team. 5 on offense, okay? You know the name Devonta Smith by chance? John Mechie's out for the year, the Canadian, with a torn knee ligament. And they're still rolling. And they beat Georgia in the SEC championship game. Kicked their ass. But now they got Georgia again. So from an Alabama perspective, that's got me reason to watch the game. How about you?
I mean, the rematch part of it will be interesting. You know, Bryce Young, you got Bennett on the other side for Georgia, who played really well at quarterback against Michigan in the Orange Bowl. He threw for over 300 yards, had 3 touchdowns. They've got 3 or 4 running backs who can carry the football. I think they had 3 or 4 guys over 35 yards running the football that game. They're explosive in a lot of different areas. But look, and that's why Georgia's favored in this game too, with Mechie's out and the way they played. Alabama, I think, has only been the underdog like 5 or 6 times ever, right, in a football game. And they usually win and usually blow teams out when they're the underdog too. But they've got the better coach. I think they've got the better quarterback. And for those 2 reasons, I think Alabama's probably going to win the game.
Well, there's no doubt. I haven't looked at the point spread yet or anything like that. Been a little busy going into the weekend here. Dominic D, watching on YouTube, says Bama finds a way to win with anyone. Big teams like that don't rebuild, they reload. Well, I do get a big sense that a lot of the nation down here will be cheering for Georgia because they hate Alabama, because they are so big and they get the best recruits every year and they're always in the national championship game. It's the biggest reason why I'm a Crimson Tide fan. When I was trying to choose a college team, I'm like, well, they're always on television every Saturday and they always have the deepest, longest season. So I'm going to cheer for Alabama. Plus, I got some friends that have played there, quite a few. Travis Smith leads that list. Chris Jones was there as a GA. Darren in Salt Lake City watching says, Alabama wins going away. Seen this movie in the Pac-12 with Utah destroying Oregon twice within a month. It probably won't even be a game, but we'll be tuned in. Jeff's the Stamps fan. I'll give him one more. He says, how about all the RP listeners come to Grey Eagle when Rod's there for a Royal Rumble?
How about that?
We probably won't do that, but there is going to be some combat sports going on at Grey Eagle. Do you want to, in the minute that we have before we break, talk about that off the top of your head, or would you prefer we wait?
Well, we can wait, but that's exciting. They're talking about that happening one of the times that we're there. A wonderful MMA event actually coming to the facility. So that's exciting. We're going to maybe get to check that out. It's an all-women's MMA promotion. It's called Palace Athena. They're doing some really cool things across the country. So that's exciting. And that's one of the events happening while we're there. And, you know, we've had the invite to be a part of it and stuff. And, you know, really, really cool.
Yeah, it's next Saturday is the huge MMA event in Calgary at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. And if the Eagle lands, my aircraft, I'll be there in time for it on Saturday night. You'll already be there. But again,
that's right.
COVID has a way of changing things on a dime, but that's the plan now. The latest change. That has never changed. Saturday, January 15th. Go follow Grey Eagle on Instagram. It's probably your best bet to find out what's going on at Grey Eagle Resort and Casino, the premier casino in Western Canada, partners of the RP Show. FlameTech Football Friday continues right after this timeout. You're watching on the Game Plus Television Network, YouTube, and Facebook Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
might not be injured if you slip and fall. Or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. FlameTech Football Friday continues, and how apropos that we have football news to pass your way on this Friday as I jump into a sports update here for Hour 2. The Calgary Stampeders have agreed to a restructured contract with quarterback goal Levi Mitchell. Details of the deal were not released Friday morning, but Mitchell said in a statement that he understands it was in his best interest to restructure his contract so the team could re-sign backup quarterback Jake Mayer and other players. Stampeders president and GM John Hufnagel said in a statement that Mitchell has yet again demonstrated a team-first mentality. Bo is heading into the final year of a 4-year contract with the Stamps. News out of Toronto with you guys' team. The Maple Leafs have placed forwards Mitch Marner and Pierre Engvall into the NHL's COVID-19 protocol. The forwards are the 16th and 17th Toronto players to enter the league's protocol. 7 staff members have also gone through the league's protocol. And if we're following the Novak Djokovic story, the top men's tennis player in the world, Djokovic, spent Orthodox Christmas in an immigration detention hotel in Australia. He's still there. He received calls from his native Serbia, including from his parents and the president, who hoped to boost his spirits on Orthodox Christmas. The 34-year-old athlete and vaccine skeptic was barred from entering the country late Wednesday when federal border authorities at the Melbourne airport rejected his medical exemption to play in the tourney. He's been confined to the detention hotel in Melbourne pending a court hearing on Monday, a week before the start of the tournament where he's seeking to win his record-breaking 21st Grand Slam singles title. The sports update for dubnetwork.ca and for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars. As our resident tennis insider, Moose, please give me in 30 seconds or less your take on the Novak Djokovic story.
It's a wild one that's hard to sum up in 30 seconds, Rod. Novak got medical
60
clearance because he's not vaccinated, right? But he got medical clearance to come in and participate in the tournament, and probably a set of protocols he had to adhere to and negative tests and so forth. But the government said, we determine who comes in and out of the province and who comes in and out of the country, not them. We got to let you in first before that medical exemption will play. The public's like, hey, if we can't travel without being vaccinated, he shouldn't be able to. There's a lot of thoughts on this, and it's highly, highly emotional right now.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, what are yours? I was most interested to hear from the people of Australia that were saying, they're saying, why is he special? And he's been proven to not be special.
He's been proven to not be special. I see that. I also think that if the clearance is there and there's protocols in place, he probably should be allowed into play. That's where I sit. Because if we could do this for everybody, we would. we would find ways for you to do everything. But at scale, it's really hard to manage. Little one-offs is okay. That's why the NHL could play in a bubble. The Western League could play in a hub. These things can happen. They cost lots of money. You can do this for a superstar tennis player. You can't do it for millions and millions of general public. Money.
Interesting that you would take that route. You're saying he is special. Nice. Ryan Jackson watching on YouTube. He writes in and says, Djokovic is right, and he's awesome for it. Maybe. I respect your opinion, but he's also cooling his heels in a detention hotel in Melbourne, Australia until Monday. So how much is it worth for you?
That's what he gets, right? I mean, I'm not saying he shouldn't be in that hotel. He chose to not be vaccinated, and now he has to deal with all this. And he's at the mercy of somebody else. I've been vaccinated. You've been vaccinated. We can travel. We made that decision. He made his.
Right. Well, the guy's saying he's awesome. And he's right. Cool. And he's also basically in jail for the weekend. So,
yeah.
What do your principles get you? Jason in Red Deer says with the Bo Levi announcement this morning, he says, can we put all the Bo Levi and Stampeders divorce talk away now? LOL. Where was that talk coming from? If you read my 10 things column, or I guess it was the Monday Morning Goalie, I wasn't having any of this Bo Levi story. Okay, he's due a $100,000 bonus early in the new year. What happens to players that are due an early bonus or a big off-season bonus? They're cut. Does Calgary want to cut Bo? No. So they'll find a way around it and continue with a happy marriage. And here we are today. So I wasn't getting into that talk. By the way, the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center is, should the Jets play their home games in Saskatoon? Should the Jets play their home games in Saskatoon? This was like an open and shut question, by the way. I woke up this morning with text messages that the Jets were eyeing Saskatoon as a place to play because Saskatchewan doesn't have attendance restrictions. And then by the time we went to air at noon Eastern, they decided they weren't going. But 57% of respondents on Twitter say, yes, the Jets should play in Saskatoon. 57% on Twitter saying, yes, they should. What's the YouTube thing at? Do we have stats on that, Producer Clark? Did I lose Producer Clark? You're looking it up? He's looking it up. That 51% yes. You want to talk about a hot button question? I don't even know where I stand. I don't know where I stand on any of this anymore. I swear I don't. Like, if 7 people in Saskatoon stood on a straight corner and said they don't want the Winnipeg Jets, they might win. 7 people. No, hell no. They might win.
I know they might. And that's crazy. It's wild. And it's a different conversation from a bubble, right? And I was 1,000% saying, look, bring a bubble to Saskatoon because it's not going to affect anybody. You could put a bubble in the middle of the biggest COVID-ravaged area ever, and everybody will be safe and it won't affect the community. That's the idea of a bubble. This is different. You want to bring 15,000 people to gather inside the arena too. So I get it from both sides. I think from the NHL perspective, it's smart because it's the only arena in the country that could host them. It's the only place. They're starved. It's an event-driven town, so this would be an event that would probably draw a lot of fans. But from a government, political, safety point of view, you're now bringing something promoting 15,000 people to get together shoulder to shoulder. So I see it from both sides.
Mike Lee watching on the Big Island in Hawaii. Mydale Mike writes in on the 902 line. He says, Rod Pedersen, the Wayne Newton of sports talk.
How about that?
I'll take it.
Doing the residency, the traveling show.
Right. Swanee from Martinsville writes in and says, first off, let's pray there is a 2022 CFL season. Like, go to church and pray, says Swanee. You want to talk about all this conjecture, off-season conjecture. Who knows if there's even going to be a season? But quite a few times in my mind, I've thought over the last month. Whew. From a CFL perspective, thank God. For a league that needed a break, they got one. To be able to get a full season in, playoffs, and a Grey Cup and have a great game, they should be feeling very grateful, and I'm sure that they are. Brady in the Bridge City. Hey, Rod, AB, Antonio Brown, is like a bunch of crushed up Crustos from Taco Time. A great player, but a heaping mess that needs to be cleaned up. Not bad. He says, I can't wait for the Rod Pedersen and Bo clash. Will for sure be a highlight of the 2022 RP show. Let me just say, can we award it now? Do we have a sound effect? Anything? Chris Jarrell in Surrey, BC is the winner of the Taco Time Comment of the Week from the RP show.
Like
the $50.
Let's go.
There you go. Okay, that'll do. $50 gift card from Taco Time. Can you flash it on the screen, Clark? Do you have it handy and ready to go? This is the Comment of the Week from Chris Jarrell in Surrey, BC. He's digging it up. By the way, Jack in Alberta, regarding that NFL quarterback that the Calgary Stampeders signed to provide competition to Bo Levi Mitchell and Jake Mayer. Jack says, Tommy Stevens is the American quarterback signed by the Stamps. 25 years old, was a 7th-round pick of the Saints. To quote Matt Dunnigan when I was talking about a former NFL quarterback that the Riders had signed. Ooh. You know what I mean? Okay, here it is. Here's the comment coming in hot. Can you read it, Darren? Because my screen won't allow me.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
The Oilers are like a stuffed Taco Time burrito. Their goaltending is like they gave them only one napkin. Tons of stuff oozing out. It's delicious, but now you have cheese sauce on your face.
There you go.
So the goaltending's not holding up. It's like a one-ply napkin.
We have now shipped 2 Taco Time gift cards to the West Coast. So keep it up out there, all watching on Game Plus TV. That reminds me, I had a question for the guys at Game Plus, and now I can't remember what it was. Memory loss and brain fog goes along with this particular illness I've been afflicted with. Something to do with Toronto. It'll come to me by the end of the show. This is a good one. Dominic, watching on YouTube, says, I'd love if a GM wouldn't say we restructured the contract and said, take a pay cut or you're fired. Well, you understand that. It's all semantics. There's another example of Bo being a team guy. Because that's what this is, right? It's a pay. We know we owed you $100,000, but we don't have it. So if you would just say no thanks, then we're good.
Yeah.
Would they put that in the news release?
Well, quite a conversation, right? You know, John being at the table at one end, being like, you know what? We're not paying you $100,000. So you're going to take, and both say, well, I could leave and get it somewhere else. So they probably met somewhere in the middle. If there's mutual desire to come back and play and be together, then they'll meet in the middle. And that's probably what happened.
I don't know. I'm kind of sitting here going, why sign contracts at all? To be honest.
I know.
Darren in Salt Lake City says, too much sun can also fade the memory, Rod. I'm sorry, what were you saying? What? I'm willing to sacrifice my memory in exchange for staying in Florida. From my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat. She says, I'm glad non-vaxxed people can't go places the rest of us can. I don't think I want to start that holy war today. John Schmeiser watching in Kansas City. He says somewhere along the line, he goes, interesting that Canada has such varied COVID restrictions, whereas in America, it's basically wide open. You don't even need a negative COVID test to get on a plane and fly across this country. Figure that one out.
Right.
People still writing in here. Yeah, I've had enough of the COVID talk. Had enough. You guys goaded me into it as far as I'm willing to walk. Darren, I don't think we're going to see you back for the rest of the show. So any last thoughts before we let you roll?
This is it. Happy weekend. Enjoy the sun. Stay warm, everybody. And looking forward to the final week of the NFL regular season.
Gotcha, Moose. Have a great weekend and stay safe. I'll probably call you later.
Sounds good.
All right. Super Bowl champion defensive back Jarrett Bush of the Green Bay Packers coming up, and Tori Gurley as well. He's rescheduled from hour 1. You're watching a FlameTech Football Friday on Game Plus Television, YouTube, live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Welcome back, everybody. FlameTech Football Friday continues as we broadcast live from beautiful and sunny South Florida, heading into the first ever Week 18 in the National Football League. And it's the perfect time to welcome to the program Jarrett Bush, who spent 9 seasons with the Green Bay Packers, won a Super Bowl with them, and he's looking fresh here today. Happy Friday, Jarrett. How you doing, my man?
Doing good. Happy to be here. Appreciate you. Thanks for the compliment.
Yeah, you bet. Glad to have you. And listen, I don't know if you remember, Jarrett, the last time we had you on, we were right in the throes of the Aaron Rodgers controversy. Was he coming back? Was he not? And as producer Clark said, what a time to bring Jarrett back on, to look back on what's happened since. MVP season, the COVID stuff, clinching #1 seed in the NFC. Man, what a season for the Green Bay Packers. It probably feels like 5 seasons in one up there, does it?
Say that again?
Probably feels like 5 seasons in one. It's been a long year in Green Bay.
Yeah, I think that's just the way of the NFL. It's definitely a lot of ups and downs. There's definitely a lot of challenging times. And as well as, I think a lot of the public here in America in football, people have a short-term memory. And when you talked about Aaron Rodgers in the offseason, people that's vaguely in people's memories now. All people see now is that Aaron's playing very well. The Packers have clinched the #1 seed in the NFC. He's running for the MVP. Him and Devontae have of the top duos, and now everybody's like wondering, curious, like who they're gonna play in the first round of the playoffs. Who's healthy? Is Jair Alexander? Is he gonna get back into the lineup? Is David Bakhtiari, is he gonna show up in the back up in the lineup due to his surgery? And they're looking forward. They're looking in the windshield. They're not looking back in the rearview window. And I think that's a really positive thing to look at. When you look at the Green Bay Packers and what they've overcome, especially Matt LaFleur, and what he had to overcome with COVID and with the offseason with Aaron Rodgers. You got to give him so much credit to the way he handled it. And the record that he has done with having 3 back-to-back 13-3 seasons, and second to only Mike Ditka to only do that in his first three seasons as a professional head coach. So kudos to him.
How are the Packers approaching this weekend, by the way? You mentioned the first round bye, #1 team in the NFC. They've got the Lions on Sunday to wrap up the regular season. Obviously resting guys. What are they saying about this weekend's game?
You know what? I think this weekend's game, you got to go for it. You got to go for it. I understand that, you definitely want to keep guys healthy. I think if you get up by 3 touchdowns, by 4 touchdowns, I think, you definitely sit some of the starters that, like Aaron Rodgers.
Everybody just saw Tori's smiling face. Tori, exit out. Log in when Clark tells you to, which is like in 8 minutes. I thought something funky was going on there with Jarrett Bush. He was right in the middle of some wonderful breaking down of this weekend's Packers-Lions game. Okay, sorry about that. We got Tori Gurley, I think your old teammate, logging in on the same line, Jarrett. So sorry about that. You're good. Okay. You're on center stage again. So you said if they get up, take Aaron out. So Aaron's going to play this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like you got to keep the momentum hot. You got to keep the hot hand going. And I don't think you should allow him to put a governor. You shouldn't put a governor on him in the sense of like an automobile. I think you should allow him to keep, pressing down the gas and allow him to continue just the momentum that he's built throughout the season and just continue just to build that chemistry going into playoffs time because it's going to be crucial. And even though this game may seem irrelevant, I think there's a lot of connections that the Packers and the Detroit Lions have. One, Equanimeous St. Brown has a brother playing. Jamal Williams, former running back for the Packers, is now playing for them. And there's a lot of connections through the coaching staff as well. I know Matt LaFleur has a lot of connections with Michigan, being that he played there. He has a lot of coaches that played at the University of Michigan as well. And so I think there's a lot of connections there. So you definitely want those bragging rights. And as competitive in the NFL, you definitely want to own those bragging rights. When you walk in at the bar, you walk in and you have that phone conversation after the game when it's all said and done.
Who do you think, Jarrett, represents the biggest threat to the Green Bay Packers to winning the Super Bowl? Let's forget about the AFC when they get there. Just getting out of their conference. Who's the biggest, most legitimate threat to them?
That's a good question. I think Dallas. I think he knows them. I think he knows the Packers really well. I think he understands what it takes to win up in Lambeau. Tom Brady, obviously, in the Bucs, because we haven't got over that hump yet. And I don't think the Rams are a threat because we saw them, up at Lambeau. But hey, you never know. You never know. There could be a different team that could have a different mentality, when it comes down to the playoff team. But I would say, in my personal opinion, those are two teams you got to watch out for. They're going to give you your best shot. And every team's going to give you their best shot. But those are the two teams that probably that will give us a run for the money.
Well, as you know, you get this late in the season, every team's good. I'm with you, though. The Rams have a lot to prove. Darren, watching in Salt Lake City, Utah, says, hey, Rod, can you ask Jarrett if it was colder in Green Bay or in Logan, Utah? Why would he ask that question, and how would you answer it? What's colder, Green Bay or Logan, Utah?
Say that one more time.
What's colder, Green Bay or Logan, Utah?
I have to say, man, I have to say Green Bay, just because the dry cold, man. I think that I never felt the negative temperatures in Utah like I did here in Green Bay. I'm serious, like -20, -25. That's ridiculous. And I think -10, that's, it shouldn't even be called anything else besides it's just ridiculous. And when you play in that 2007 NFC Championship game, there's nothing to the amount of how cold I was, as well as like everybody else that was at that stadium that day or that night, that evening. And it was truly a remarkable game. We ended up on the short end of the stick on that game. But I've never felt that cold before in Utah or anywhere else besides Green Bay. So Green Bay definitely takes the cake. Good question.
John in Winnipeg watching says, Green Bay royalty. Mr. Bush, man, I would love to have one of those Green Bay helmets. Well, John, I'm sure you can go buy one at Polo Park Mall. Ryan in New York watching. Last question for you, Jarrett, before we let you go. He says, question for Jarrett. With the Jets playing better as of late, is there a potential for an upset on late Sunday afternoon? That's the Jets and Bills playing. I think the Bills are looking at it as a tune-up. Any chance the Jets win that one?
That's tough. I don't want to break his heart, but I think it's every dog has his day, man. I think it is the NFL. I think they have Jets are dangerous because they have nothing to lose. Due to the record, I think you got to go into it. Hey, we can only come up and win this game, So I think they're a very dangerous team. And when you have nothing to lose, you become really dangerous. Now the Bills, they've proven, time and time again why they're one of the top teams in the NFL. I think at 1 week, the Bills were the top dog in the power rankings on ESPN.com. So I definitely feel that the Bills have still a great matchup. Zach Wilson, he seems like a great kid. He does a lot for the community. I think he's still developing. He has a lot of tools around him, and a great city to play for. I think it's gonna be a great game, but nothing to lose, and number one, former power ranking. I think it's gonna be a dog match. So you guys got to get your popcorn and watch it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be some great games. Plenty of games to watch with great side stories here in Week 18. Jarrett, thanks for the time. Great job as always, my man. Stay safe out there in Green Bay.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Former Packer and Calgary Stampeder, Super Bowl champion Jarrett Bush. We're going to keep rolling with the NFL talk right after this. Tori Gurley will be with us for overtime. Get your NFL questions ready. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop staffed by PGA of Canada professionals is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
You might not be injured if you slip and fall. Or you might sprain your wrist, or even fracture it. A severe wrist fracture can take at least 2 months to heal properly. And it can cause you to develop arthritis that keeps you from doing something as simple as picking up your child without pain. Slips, trips, and falls can have a lifetime impact. Take safer steps with WorksafeSask.ca.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Hey, Don.
Hey, Quinn.
We have a surprise for you.
Oh, my.
Addiction. It destroys relationships, families, and lives. It makes individuals and the people who love them feel powerless. But the good news is that addiction is a treatable illness. At Aurora Recovery Center, we provide everything you need to build a solid foundation for your recovery, with holistic, evidence-based treatment tailored to each individual. Located in Gimli, Manitoba, on the shores of Lake Winnipeg, Aurora can help regardless of whether or not you feel ready or have tried before. Aurora Recovery Center. Recovery for life. Visit AuroraRecoveryCenter.com for more information today.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to RodPedersenShop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at RodPedersenShop.com.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
Welcome back, everybody. It is overtime. It's our final segment of the week on this FlameTech Football Friday, and we're going to talk NFL with our NFL Insider Tori Gurley. Although I did mention earlier, Tori, you are close friends with Trevor Harris. So if you have any tidbits on where Trevor Harris may end up playing in 2022, I might ask you that by the end of the interview, my man. But happy Friday. Hope you're well. And I'm going to open up with the Antonio Brown situation, if you don't mind. We really haven't talked about it all day yet. I was saving it to ask you your take on the enigmatic star wide receiver and what he's been through in the last week with the Buccaneers.
I'm blown away. You know, it's one of these things where we sit back and we watch it unfold right in front of our eyes, and it's mind-boggling. You know, it's for someone to be as talented as he is, to continue to make the mistakes on and off the field, it just has you scratching your head. You know, for someone who, you know, this guy had more lives than a cat when it comes to opportunities and to play over it. You know, it just seems like somebody that's just not humble, and I don't think he's ever going to learn his lesson. You know, I feel like the more people do for him, the more he just kind of take advantage of it, and he could care less. So I'm hoping he gets it together because, you know, football is going to end one day, and You won't be able to act like this and you're not a football player anymore. And I just hope he gets, whatever help he needs, or, I just hope he gets that stuff worked out, because right now, man, it's embarrassing.
But I'm sure somewhere along the line, Tori, you've gone through what he's gone through as of last weekend. If AB's to be believed, told to play and he didn't want to play because he felt he was hurt. If that's true, who do you believe? Bruce Arians or Antonio Brown? I'm on record as saying I believe AB. But what's your take on that side of the saga?
And you got to look at it within the context. I don't think there's any football player in week 17 or 18 that's healthy. Like somebody's going to be hurt, because we can turn around and ask the same question. If it was the Super Bowl or if it was the playoffs, would he walk off the field? So, that's where, as a football player, there's a gray area between coach as well as player, because, okay, some games playing the New York Jets last week of the season, who cares? But if it's Super Bowl, you're shooting yourself up, or you taking any type of minutes because you want to play in that game. If it's the playoffs, you're, taking all making all the proper steps to get out there and compete because it's at stake. And that's one of those things where you just don't, you don't want to be in the middle of. But, both sides could be right, but it's just sad how it's not professional the way they're going about it. It's just some drama that follows him, and we all know that's Antonio Brown. And that's just something I wish he could just kind of shake loose from, because it's just, there are so many kids that look up to him. And the last thing you want to see is a college kid acting out this way, or a high school kid acting out this way, or someone even younger acting out, like a pee-wee football player taking off their clothes and walking off the field because they saw Antonio Brown do it. So it's just much bigger than just him. It's just the football world in particular, because people do think highly of him as an athlete.
Ryan H. watching on YouTube says, from a player's perspective, what does Tori think about the new Monday night playoff game this season? Any thoughts?
I'm excited. I think it's a great opportunity to, instead of having 6 teams in the playoffs, 6 on each side, now you have 7, so that's 14, and the number 1 seeds, they get the bye week and everybody else has to play. And I feel like it's definitely going to be a sense of urgency, because we all know it's at stake. Everybody wants to play for that Super Bowl, the Lombardi Trophy. And, having it on Monday Night Football, we will all be around the television watching the games, because if your team is still in it, you got an opportunity to win the big game. And that's where football is really fun, because this is where legends are made.
Have you got a Super Bowl pick, Tori? I'm not sure that I pinned you down going into the year who you thought would be in the big game, but we kind of got an idea here now heading into the final weekend of the regular season. Who do you think could be left standing in LA in February?
I think it's going to be Packers and Chiefs. I think right now, with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just unraveling right in front of our eyes, I feel like that's the only team that can go up to Lambeau and beat them. But since that team is hurt and they have so much drama going on, I feel like Tampa could be one of these teams that lose early in the playoffs. And if LA has to fly to Green Bay to go play, they're not going to beat Aaron and them in Lambeau Field. They're not built to be outside in that cold weather. I know it'd be the NFC Championship game, but I could just see Green Bay just steamrolling that team just because it's cold. They're in a different element. And, what I saw from Matthew Stafford a couple of weeks ago when they played is just, I wasn't a fan. And, I just don't believe in that team being able to go out there and play up north and get a big win. So I think it'd be Green Bay representing the NFC. I think the Chiefs, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill, they can make plays and get it done. So I think it'll be a hell of a Super Bowl between the 2 State Farm quarterbacks.
Tori, you spelled Dallas Cowboys wrong, but that's okay. I'm going to forgive you. We're out of time. We've got less than a minute, so I'm going to let you go other than to say, hey, give my best to TJ and Kim. Love you all, and have a great weekend. Enjoy the games.
We love you guys. Take care. Look forward to seeing you soon out there in that pretty weather.
Absolutely. Can't wait. You know where to find me. Tori
Yes,
Gurley joining us, our NFL Insider. Well, that brings us to an end. Hey, a great way to end this. Go long watching on YouTube. Bomber fan, because that's their avatar, writes in and says, Bombers need to develop a competent backup quarterback. They just won 2 Grey Cups, and people are on their ass what they need to do. Okay, got it. We'll see you Monday, noon Eastern, right here on Game Plus.
McFly, hello.
Awesome.